What's up, guys? Benny Adams here. I am back and I am so excited to have this guy, Kraig Daniel, with me. He is on one of the biggest shows out right now on Amazon Prime called The Underground Railroad. How's it going, man? How are you today?
I'm doing wonderful today, Benny. Thank you very much for having me. It's been a real pleasure. It's a day off for me, so I've been relaxing, took a few naps. It's been great.
Nice. Well, I'm glad you're having an awesome day today, and I want to talk all about this amazing show because you are on such a historical show, and you play such a big character in this series. Can you talk about your character Bozeman and what he's all about for the people who haven't seen this series?
So for my character Bozeman, for those of you who have yet to venture down the Underground Railroad with us, I'm a slave catcher. I am Arnold Ridgway's essentially his right hand man, other than Little Homer, played by Chase W. Dillon, who is fantastic, and Joel Edgerton as Ridgway. I'm their kind of assistant. I help them find the girl that they're looking for, Cora, who has run away from the Randall plantation.
That's great. That's awesome. And so I just how you play someone who is who owns slaves. What was it like getting into that mind frame of that character? Because it is a dark character that you're playing.
It is a very dark character that I do play. I'm not, I guess, new to that standpoint. I get cast as the racist, the villain, the drug addict, more than occasionally.
Hmm.
Um, so I'm used to going into that mental space, and then right when the director calls cut, it's back to me. Uh, that way I
Right.
can keep the difference, and I don't need to stay in that space when I'm around people when we're not shooting, because that's not a fun person to be around by any means at all.
Right, right. And so I want to talk about episode five because episode five was a huge episode for you, and I feel like your character had such an emotional arc in that episode. What was it like getting into that emotional aspect of the character?
Getting into the emotional aspect was actually very easy because of who I got to play with. Tuso, I'm gonna butcher her last name, Mbadu. I think that's how you pronounce her last name, but I probably butchered it. I'm sorry if you see this. Um, but you look into her eyes and she's already there, and you can't help but just fall into the scene with her. Um, she made it so easy. And then Barry Jenkins would just whisper something right into your ear right before we go, and you just drop in. And it was so easy to play with them because of all the circumstances that they put together to make it a safe place to play,
Hmm.
and just the way that Tuso easily jumped into the scene, it just made it like flow like water.
Man, I'm glad you mentioned Barry Jenkins. Huge guy. Like, what was it like working with him on the show?
That is by far the highlight of my career thus far. Um, that guy is otherworldly in his directing. I would show up on set and all of a sudden, Gregory Dane from across the way, I would hear him shout that. And it just brings a smile and a joy to working with him. And,
Hmm.
I would, whenever anything was going on, I tried to be within earshot of him. That way I could just listen and observe and learn everything that he was doing for this show and for the actors. I love the way he communicated with everybody on that set. And there was one time where actually during one of the shots, I rolled my ankle down Stone Mountain out here in Georgia, where we were filming, and yeah, it destroyed me because I thought I ruined everything.
Hmm.
And then a few, like at the end of the shoot day, he comes up to me and we actually had a nice conversation, and he brought me back down to earth saying like, "No, we got everything we needed. We're good. You're good."
I
And that
love
was
that.
really encouraging for me.
I love that, man. And Barry isn't you have such an impressive resume when it comes to acting. And Barry isn't the only person that, that you've worked with. You've also worked with Noah Weil. You've worked with so many other people, Ethan Hawke. What's it like working with these guys who, people love, like, their household names? What was it like working with them?
That was a real treat. The real treat is actually when the camera's not rolling, because you get to observe them and how they go about their day, how they go about their business, and you just kind of learn how, at least I always try to just learn how they go about being on set and how they treat everybody and how they focus on the job, but they still have fun doing it. And
Mm-hmm.
I love being able to do that.
And if you could give me one piece of advice that you learned from one of those actors, what would it be?
If I could give you one piece of advice that I've learned from any of the, I guess,
Any of the actors,
the
any of
stars
the
that I've
actors
worked
that you've
with,
worked with.
Don't take yourself too seriously. You're allowed to mess up, because there can be another take. Like, don't, I have an issue of putting so much pressure on myself
Mm-hmm.
that it can sometimes take away the joy and the freedom of the shot or of the scene. And that is something that they have helped extremely well with.
I like that. I like that. That's some good piece of advice right there.
Yeah.
What's something that you've learned from making this series, from being on this series, Underground Railroad?
I guess what I've learned from being able to work on the Underground Railroad was that if everything is flowing as a team, you're golden. No matter how dark the material may be, no matter how funny the material may be, opposite sides of the spectrum, if everybody's there for the same vision, it'll be a great day.
Right.
And that really showed me, because the material is very heavy. And there was one day I showed up on set, and I'm not entirely sure what scene they had just shot, but it was a very emotional scene for Tuso, and the crew was just heavy. Everybody felt it, and she gave such a powerful performance for them that it touched everybody there. And it wasn't down in a sense, but it was just heavy. But that's how tight knit the entire crew was, and that just really spoke to how much everybody was on the exact same page.
Nice. That's really cool. And so this series is a groundbreaking series. Like I said earlier, it is huge. Why do you think so many people are connecting with this show? Why is this show so big? Why do you think it's so big right now?
Well, I think you have to look at the situation that we're in as a society, because it's touching on many different levels of what's going on here in America. And, it's heartbreaking, everything that is going on. And this just kind of puts a different eye on it, especially coming from Barry Jenkins, who has one of the greatest eyes. If you've seen any of his other work, you know exactly what I mean. He knows how to tell a story and get a certain story, a certain perspective out there into the world.
Mm-hmm.
And he's done that very well. I've watched the series. I skip over my stuff because I can't stand to watch my own stuff. I hate it so much. I get very judgmental about it. But you can tell that he wields the wand to the story that he wants to tell, and I think it just relates exactly to what's going on in the world. because it's shown. I mean, these last couple of years have shown how just unwilling to change a lot of America is, and it's really unfortunate how much we're stuck in the past and not willing to move forward into the future.
Right. And for people who haven't seen this show yet, but they're now saying, I want to give this show a try. What do you want them to take from this series?
What would I want someone? I would want someone to take from this series a new perspective, a new idea. I think everyone should explore other countries, other cultures, and learn and let that in, rather than just putting up a blog, and rather than just being, okay, I'm going to watch this to be entertained. Let it in and let it actually affect you. Let it show you a different side of a new culture that maybe you didn't realize. Right. One of my personal things out of New Zealand, the haka, that is such an inspirational dance movement. Everything about that I love, and I would love to eventually partake in one if it was properly trained to me. Of course, I would never lead one because I don't believe I could, just me personally. But I love exploring other cultures and just being open to that.
I love that. That was an amazing answer. So you've worked with, like I said before, you've worked with so many amazing actors, directors. Who's one actor that you have not worked with that you would love to work with on a future project?
Oh shit! Sorry.
You're fine.
One actor. If I could pick one actor to work with, that's a really tough call, because I have so many favorite actors that span so many different genres. Obviously, I think being opposite Denzel, I might actually piss myself. Sorry, but it would be amazing. And like Jim Carrey has always been a huge influence on me. One guy I can say I desperately would have loved is Robin Williams. Just the way his mind works, and just to see if that would have been in a scene, oh my God, I would have lost it with him.
That would have been pretty cool. Not gonna lie, that would have been pretty cool. Final question, man. Final question. What else are you working on? Is there anything else you're working on that you want to let your fans know to watch out for?
So Leverage Redemption, it drops July 9th on IMDb TV. It's going to be, if you saw the first Leverage, I don't want to give anything away, but it'll be a hoot to check out. It's called Leverage Redemption, drops July 9th. Noah Wiley joins the cast, so that's going to be amazing. I forget exactly what episode I'm in. I want to say 5 or 6, but I'm not positive.
Awesome.
But it'll drop on IMDb TV July 9th for you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on again, talking with me about this amazing show. Any final words that you wanted to say to your fans?
I just keep dreaming, keep pushing.
Awesome.
You'll see what happens.
I agree. Just putting it all out there into the universe and making it happen.
That's right.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming on. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time. See you later.
Thanks, Benny.